All right, everyone, welcome into another episode of the Lowdown Sports Show. This show is brought to you by the Basketball Podcast Network, presented by DraftKings. I'm your host, Drew,
I'm BJ.
and we're here to get the lowdown on all things basketball. Back again for another episode. BJ on hand for With It or Quit It tonight. Ladies and
Yes,
gentlemen, or
sir.
today. I mean, it is tonight, but when
It
you hear
still
this,
is.
it'll
Yeah,
be today probably. Okay.
I
But
think
you get
so.
it. BJ on hand for With It or Quit It. Talking NBA predictions today, ladies and gentlemen. NBA season is upon us right around the corner. If you are playing fantasy, you might have already drafted, or if you're like me, you're drafting this weekend just ahead of the action. And we're ready to get started. A lot of basketball talking today. BJ's best coming up, ladies and gentlemen. What's on me, Mr. Drew's mind? And of course, those NBA predictions. Um, Probably gonna do a little bit of awards. I haven't finished mine yet because I'm undecided. But we
Yeah.
we got the teams for the season coming up. We're gonna talk about that, and L.A. Lakers back in the news, and man, we gotta bring that up a little bit today too. So
The circus is in town, Drew. The circus is in town.
it is, and we got a couple other things to mention as well. We'll sneak in there, so make sure you're staying locked for all the information we got for you today and all the chit chat. BJ, you ready to go, man?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's go. All right, man. Lakers is what we're going to kick it off with before we just dig into the depths of our NBA stuff here. Lakers,
Hmm.
we alluded to it. Lakers back in the news, BJ. And who none other than Russell Westbrook being a part of it. There was a
Oh,
little something going on, preseason action, as a matter of fact. Um, Lakers, Pat Beverly trying to call a huddle with his team on defense, trying to get things together. And good old buddy Russell Westbrook, the guy that said Pat Bev trick y'all, man, is he was not trying to get in that huddle. He wasn't trying to get in that huddle.
By
no.
Jaden McDaniels. Foul on Westbrook. McDaniels' third year out of Washington. Go to the line to try to complete the three-point play.
What, a high five?
Yeah, knocking his hand away there, like, hey, here's a high five instead of getting into the huddle. Go, go, get ready to rebound this ball with me. So I think that's a little bit of that Pat Bev trick y'all right there. But like, hey, this man over here calling a defensive huddle. Y'all know I don't think he can play true defense. Do you think I'm gonna get in this huddle that he is calling?
You know,
If
it's
LeBron would have called it, Russell might would have gone in there. If
hundred
AD would have
percent.
called it, I think Russell would have gone in there. Anybody else but Pat Beverly calling the defensive huddle. I don't think that
You know,
was ever
this
gonna work out.
this screams city boy, city boy. To me,
Anybody?
it screams toxicity that going on there. City boy. It screams toxicity going on in between the two of them still.
Man, that makes me want to
At least
send
to me.
myself the City Boys video right now just so I can pop it up in the stream, man. City Boy.
We
Um,
need that as a sound effect from here on
yeah,
out.
I mean, we can make it happen. I do have it, so
There you go.
you can get her done real quick, fast, and in a hurry. I can tell you that, young boy. Okay, but yeah, I mean, here we are, Lakers. I mean, I've heard a little bit of chatter this morning, and I just want to get your take, BJ, before we dive into where we think these teams are gonna be this season. Do you think these Lakers with Russell Westbrook on the team can win a championship this year?
I think you already asked me this question, and talent wise, yes, they can.
Yeah.
But will they gel and come together and play as a team? That remains to be seen, and that's kind of where I think their issue is going to be. Yeah, I don't want to bet against LeBron and Anthony Davis with a full season of health on their side. But I mean, if this stuff continues on and this is more of a distraction as opposed to two guys just trying to get the best out of each other and playing up to that high level that you'd expect from the two of them, and especially on a team that has superstars like Anthony Davis and LeBron James. That remains to be seen. I think they'll be a whole lot better. I'm not going to go too far in depth just because that's not the segment just yet, but I think they're going to be much improved from where they were a year ago. It's just, is that going to be what brings them down at the end of the year?
Right. I feel it. And, you know, Russell Westbrook, of course, this was popping on the media. It was trending. It was all over social. Everybody was talking about it. So when it came to practice, Russ was going to get
Practice?
asked about it. And here's his response.
Yeah, it's really weird, man. Pre-game, I've been doing that for. I've been in the league for years, man. I think they just cut the video, and obviously the internet don't take it and run whatever they need to run with. But I've been doing the same ritual since I've been in the league. I'm pretty sure you guys are probably can attest to that. But as far as the other video, I was actually talking to the coaches, and they cut that video in half as well. I was talking to the coaches about a missed coverage, so I don't pay no mind to it, man. It's honestly, I'm just trying to compete and do my job. Everything, videos, and getting nitpicked. You can cut any video and make anything you want out of it. It's not up to me to be able to judge that. I know I'm a genuine team player, and I never had a problem being with my teammates, and I continue to do what I've been doing.
Since coming to LA, have you kind of felt some of those moments of more scrutiny over things that, in other places you played, in other parts of your career, might just kind of seem normal?
It's been the same for me, honestly, man, in my career. I'm very used to it, and I'm very accustomed to it. That's why I've been just blessed and thankful to be able to continue to play each year, and I keep my head down and continue competing. And whatever comes with the extra stuff comes with it. It's not up to me to be able to make videos or make things for the internet. I just go out and do my job.
There you have it from Russ. And there was something else that came out about Russ. Somebody tried to clip and splice a video of the pregame of Russell Westbrook, trying to make it seem like he was not with his team at all in the pregame, when in reality he was, and is shown doing his traditional, shaking of his arms, or however you want to, whatever you want to call it. Everybody who watched Russell Westbrook play and seen the pregame knows what he does. The same rituals, D Wade pull-ups on the rim. I think it's James Harden that runs and jumps into the pad at the back. It's either him or like Chris Paul that do something like that.
That was Paul, but maybe I'm wrong.
Chris Paul. I think it's Chris Paul that runs and jumps into the pad. So people have their LeBron's chalk, and everybody's got their thing,
Yeah.
And it's clear in the video that Russ was out there with them, as lineups were being called and things like that, and wasn't separate from his team that whole time. Just that one portion right there, and made it look like he was never out there. So people, as always, trying to make Russ look like the bad guy.
Of course, yeah. I mean, what do you expect? It's one of those things where if you can have, like, the white hat and the black hat, if you will, going back to those old westerns, everybody needs somebody to kind of root against, or a villain, if you will. And I guess whether it's fair or not, Russell Westbrook has kind of gotten stuck with that black hat moniker, the being the villain in the story. And I mean, I got to give him credit, because it's kind of one of those things where he's like, yeah, video can be shown to look like anything these days, and he's not wrong, or they can cut it off or whatever, and until the way that angle is. I mean, we can go back and look at that. It's not a good look for Westbrook, but it's he if he thinks he's being, unfairly, accused of not being a team player or whatnot, then absolutely he needs to come out and kind of defend himself and say he's always been a team player. And, that's one of the things that the argument has always been, that he's not, that he's kind of, stat padding, and he's just playing for himself. And I mean, I don't know. I think, Drew, honestly, NBA fans have their opinions of Russell Westbrook. And no matter what he says at this point, it's not going to change. I don't think anything that he says will change their opinions on him at this point.
No, I agree for sure. I I don't think he's going to be able to change anyone's mind on who he
Mhm.
is. And I don't think he cares to change anyone's mind at this
No,
point.
why
Russ is
not?
always just going to speak, his mind and, tell the truth. And he's not going to change at this point in his career. And I
Yeah.
mean, Russ is not the type of person to change for anybody anyway. So,
If
uh,
you're going to be accused of it, might as well just lean full in and go with the toxicity. Here we go.
Multiple times, so I'd say City Boys are up right now.
City boy,
City boy.
City boys.
Good
All
stuff.
right,
Good stuff.
the City boys are now going to get into those NBA predictions.
Yeah.
BJ, do you want to start in the West or in the East?
Let's start in the East and work our way to the West because there's a lot of teams that in the East that we can talk about as being up there in contention, everything like that.
Okay, I'm thinking going bottom to top. You want to start in the East for us?
Okay, yeah. Let me look back at what I've got written down here.
Okay.
It's going to be interesting to see what we've got in the East because there's going to be I think there's going to be a lot of movement. I think you're going to see a lot of parity more so than we saw a year ago.
Oh
Let's
gosh,
see,
dang
where
it.
did I put it? If you've got some, while I try to find this, if you want to go ahead and at least kind of give your, missing the playoff tier, and then we can kind of go in tiers
Yeah,
while I'm looking for this.
missing the playoff tier, so
Mhm.
non-play-in. So you're 11 through
Yeah.
15 on this
Hmm.
East side. I'm gonna start uh, bottom. I'm gonna go bottom. Last
Okay.
place team in the East. I think the Wizards. I think the
Okay.
Wizards. You can pick really any of these other few teams right above them. Some you
Hmm.
can't pick, but I mean, it's really just a crapshoot between these last few here: the Magic and the Pacers,
Hmm.
and maybe the Hornets if they don't pan out again. But
Yeah.
Wizards. I mean, they don't have a whole lot out there anymore. Every little piece that they had alongside Bradley Beal for the most part is gone. I think they're getting Rui Hachimura is going to be healthy again this season. Denny Avija, however you say that last name. He's going to get a second
Hmm.
season in the league, so we'll see what he looks like out there. I mean, Bill put a smacking on us when we played him, but
Yeah.
Bill's going to get his buckets against us. We don't do very well against two guards for whatever reason. They always have their day against the Dallas Mavericks. It's pretty
Yeah.
crazy. Kobe always went to work. Harden always goes to work. Beal, DeRozan will hit every mid range in the gym. It's just how it goes for us. Two guards do that work. But Wizards, I don't think they have enough. KP more than likely going to get hurt out there for them, and the season's just not going to materialize. I mean, they don't have enough to make things happen.
Yeah.
So they're going to be somewhere down there. I just go ahead and put them at the bottom. That's what I think.
I think that's very fair. I think I had them near the bottom. I can't remember if they were in last or not. I'm looking back now at what you because I mean, Orlando's going to show some positive signs, but I don't know if they're going to win enough games to avoid falling into last place. Yeah, to me it feels like Washington's about to clear house and already is in the process of doing so, and so you can engage the tank mode, if you will.
Yeah. Just above them, I have the Indiana Pacers.
Yeah.
The Indiana Pacers seem to be
Mhm.
selling for the most part. Um, they've obviously gotten rid of Sabonis already. Where did Brogdon go?
Boston, right? Yeah.
Boston, yeah. Brogdon's in Boston. I don't even know who Halliburton's out there I mean, he's going to get better this year, but I mean, what they don't really have a whole lot. Who else came with Halliburton over there? Um,
Oh shoot.
Buddy Healed, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And Miles Turner. Miles Turner has been wanting to leave, so
They've been
I
talking
think they're
about
going to
him
continue to sell.
like every off season for like 5 years. It felt like Miles Turner's going to end up going somewhere else, and he always stays in Indiana. So
Well,
I believe it when I
Carlisle's
see
there
it at this
now.
point.
I think he wants to get him gone. I don't know, but they're going to be selling for the majority of the season. They're going to be, one of those teams that you can go out there and get some assets. Maybe some team can snag a Halliburton or a Miles Turner. If we could somehow squeeze him into our mix, that would be fantastic, and have
Oh
have a
yeah,
nice little front court rotation. If we somehow manage to keep Maxi Kleber in that acquisition of of Miles Turner, but probably not.
Yeah, I wouldn't
Um,
imagine, but it'd be
but
awesome if you could.
not a whole lot of stock in the Indiana Pacers. I might should have swapped these two teams just because one of this player got hurt in the preseason and he doesn't get to start the season with the team. I don't believe. Next up, Orlando Magic at 13 spot. I think
Mhm.
Jalen Suggs. I don't remember what his injury was. I did see it though. I'm pretty sure he's not going to start the season. I'll get exact for you. But Suggs. And they don't have a whole lot out there anyway. Obviously, Vucevic isn't in town anymore. Fournier is not in town anymore. Um, uh, everybody out there, everybody out there continues to get hurt. Um, God, I'm spacing on his name. Mo Bamba still out there.
Mhm.
There were talks about him leaving. I think he was a free agent. I think he is a free agent actually. I don't.
Yeah.
Maybe he's playing with them right now. I don't know. But Bamba and Jonathan Isaac stays getting hurt. Franz Wagner, good piece out there. He'll get his buckets and he'll continue to ball, but I mean
Mhm.
it's not going to help them make any playoff push or anything like that. And Cole Anthony, he'll still be a good player out there, but the Magic are still going to be the Magic, and they're still going to stink.
Yeah.
Uh,
So this is the latest, or at least the
it's a
latest I've
left knee
seen.
sprain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there, it's relief that he avoided more serious injury. Last update was depending upon how he responds to treatment will determine his timetable on when he could return. So
Oh
I
yeah,
haven't heard anything official as to
and
when to expect him back, but he probably won't be there for at least the first few games of the season.
and that's where Paolo Banchero is.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't. He's not going to do enough to elevate. The East is really deep this
Hmm.
year, and
Yeah.
he just doesn't have enough help to make it. Make things happen for him. For the Magic out there, and I think that's going to hamper his Rookie of the Year odds. And we'll get to that later
To
on who
that
we
in a
think
little
could
bit.
win.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Magic way down there as usual. Nothing's changed out there in
Yeah.
Orlando to make me think otherwise. So bottom of
Yeah.
the totem pole.
I had Indiana last, then Orlando, then
So then,
Washington.
hey,
So
any mix
I
of
mean,
that
it's
is
kind
totally
of the
cool.
order is between those three. It really doesn't matter.
Right. Well, heck, you can take over now. You got your list.
I think so. Yeah.
All right.
So beyond that, you go and look at the rest of the Eastern Conference. Next up, beyond. So I had Washington above Orlando here as so that would be 13. You're looking at man, it gets to be tough at this point because there are
Yeah.
so many good teams. I think I had Detroit. Yeah, here's Detroit here coming in at number 12. They're going to be
Okay.
a bit better in my opinion, just still not quite there in terms of being in close enough to the playoffs. I
Jaden
think that
Ivey in town, right?
I know, yeah, and all the young talent that they've got. It's going to be interesting to watch. I'm hoping that I'm just kind of being a little bit more cautious and they can take that next step up and be really really close. But it's just tough to see because of how deep and talented the Eastern Conference is.
Yeah. Um, I'll go ahead and let you do one more just to see if we see where we're at there before I say
Yeah,
who I had at 12.
yeah. I and then at number 11, it's I've got the Knicks.
Okay.
I think the Knicks just barely are that last team missing out on the play-in tournament. Even with the talent that they've got, bringing in Jalen Brunson, I think that they're going to be close. It's going to be maybe a game separate these teams.
Okay. I had man, this will be an interesting shuffle. I think I know who you've got at 10 then.
Hmm.
So I had the team you haven't mentioned yet, the Hornets at
Hmm.
12,
Yeah,
Pistons at 11,
yeah,
and Knicks at 10. I think Knicks will have enough
yeah,
to be in the play-in.
yeah.
And Pistons, I like what they got, but I think the addition of Jalen Brunson might help the Knicks enough to, squeeze their way into a play-in because,
Hmm.
he's fresh off a conference finals. He didn't want to miss the playoffs or even the play-in, fresh
Yeah.
off that.
Yeah,
And,
Hornets
and
are
Pistons,
number 10 for me. So
and
just like I said, by one game you can maybe flip flop them. It'll just
yeah,
depend on that head to head record.
Yeah, what we've done so far is you've grabbed the Wizards and put them on top of the Magic and shuffled it down, and got the Hornets and then put them on top of the Knicks and shuffled it down. That's how you got it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I believe in LaMelo Ball. I think he's going to have a really good season this year,
Oh,
and I
know
think
that.
that's going to be just enough to get them there. It may not do them much good, but I think they can make another trip to the bubble, or not the
Okay.
bubble, but the play-in. I don't know why I consider it a bubble. I guess because it came about because of the bubble.
Right. So 9 now. Yeah.
Yeah. So coming in at number 9, I've got the Brooklyn Nets. I think they're going
Oh,
to be a thin team. I
dang.
know, I know. It's just I don't know if Ben Simmons is going to contribute as much
Hey, they
as
have Kevin Durant. I can't put
I
them
know,
there.
I know. But this is
Which
another
is
kind of
ironic considering what I've got in the Western Conference. I'll save that.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is another one that I can see very close because I think it's another game that separates these two teams. But I've got Brooklyn at 9 and probably winning. In all honesty, the matchup between these two teams and would determine the 8th seed. So I don't know why I have them at 9. I have Chicago just a game better. I think at the moment.
Okay.
So Chicago gets that 8th spot. And then you
And
want the last team that's going to be in the bubble, or I said it again, in the play-in.
yeah.
All right, the last team that I haven't mentioned that's going to be in the play-in tournament, Toronto Raptors.
We didn't hit on any of those. We haven't hit on anything yet.
Oh man. Well, I think we're pretty close at the
Okay.
bottom. It's just I mean, there's a whole, there's not a whole lot that's separating these teams, and that's what makes it fun. Is because we got we got the same 15 teams, and we got to figure out where they're going to finish, and it's so
Uh,
deep that it's literally game or two games separating
Mark that.
again, in my opinion.
Mark that. Um, I had at 9 the Chicago Bulls.
Mhm.
Bulls not getting old Lonzo Ball back,
Yeah,
and
for quite a while.
I mean they got, I think it's Andre Drummond and someone else, but they didn't get no more defense, and their
Mhm.
best defender still hurt.
Still hurt. Yeah,
And you see how they played to finish the season? They stunk.
yeah,
And they went from literally being a 1 or 2 seed to somehow got a 5. No idea
yeah.
how, but
It's
I
just
think it
because
was
they didn't
5 or was
collapse
it 6?
anymore. It
Was
was
it 5
no, it
or
was 6.
6?
It was 6. Yeah,
Somehow got a
because
5 or a 6 seed. Still,
no,
I mean
it
that's,
because Toronto was up at 5 playing Philly, and they fell to 6. They were the last team to avoid the play, and they played Milwaukee and
but that
had
was
the
a
gentleman sweep.
point is colossal drop for Chicago when they
Hmm.
lost Lonzo, and I don't think
Yeah.
it's going to really start off too much better. Like DeRozan will get points, Levine will get points, and maybe Vucevic won't suck for you all the time,
Hmm.
or every now and then. But
Yeah.
I think Bulls are going to be a play-in team.
Hmm.
Next up, you just mentioned this team, but I have them at 8. The Raptors.
Hmm.
Raptors. I think they'll be a really good team. I just like I thought, East is just loaded
It's
up at the
so
top,
tough. Yeah.
and I think they'll be formidable, but I think they'll get leapfrogged by one team, and I don't have the Nets as low as you have them. I have got a lot of belief in my Longhorn Kevin Durant, and
I
I'm
believe
just
in
I'm just
him
gonna
too.
hold on to it.
How long is how long can we believe in the Ben Simmons hype train if he's not going to shoot?
I don't know,
How
but
long
I
can
mean
they keep
he
riding the rails?
without shooting, he still does well enough to get you like a top 3 seed as Philly's point guard, and he's a borderline defensive player of the year even when he's not shooting. So that'll help the Nets no matter what. It's just whether or not Kyrie stays in town all season
Yeah,
and
that
plays
could be
however many
that could.
games.
There's a lot of talk he's already in a potential trade package with. Maybe we haven't heard the last of Westbrook to Brooklyn for Kyrie. It's
Yeah,
possible.
very interesting. And the 7 seed, they just became one of the best backcourts in the NBA. The Atlanta Hawks.
Yeah,
Atlanta Hawks, I think they'll get themselves back into the mix, but that top is just they're so loaded. Atlanta
I
would just
know.
have to be into a whole nother gear, which can
I think they
genuinely
can.
happen. Yeah, it
Hmm.
can. It can. They've got the
Yeah.
tools, and if they stay healthy, man, even though I mean they lost Herter, but who cares? They still have plenty left to work with. I think they got rid of Gallinari though, right?
I think so. I think you're right.
So they're missing a couple of pieces that have seen the Eastern Conference Finals with them, but they've got plenty of other talent that's healthy and coming back. Collins, Capella,
Mm-hmm.
uh, DeAndre
DeJounte
Hunter,
Murray, yeah.
DeJounte Murray adding to the mix now.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean that's quite a good unit there that'll be able to be formidable. So
Yeah, I
number
mean
six
that
would be
you're
good.
you're not far off. I had Atlanta at 6. I thought they got
Okay.
just a little bit of head and sneak in to that 6th spot. So I mean, yeah, I think we're not too far off. It's just a matter of getting some shuffling, and that's what
Yeah.
makes it fun. Is that it would be boring if we're saying the whole the same things about the same seating, everything like that.
Right.
What about
Right.
you at 6? Who do you have?
6. Here, get a couple more. I see where we're at.
Okay.
We gotta mix
All
it
right.
up here.
Number 5, I've got Cleveland. I've got a lot of faith in this Cavs team. Bringing in Donovan Mitchell to that team, as good as they were last year before injuries kind of derailed their chances of being in that top 6 mix. I think they're going to be able to stay healthy. I like what they've got, especially bringing in Mitchell. And I think they'll be right there as that top in that 5 range. 4-5 matchup is where I see them ending up.
Man, I like that we're so different on these things.
Yeah. And then I'll go ahead and give you number 4, and then I'll say the last 3. Number 4, I've got the Sixers.
Oh, we haven't. All right, we still haven't hit on anything. I like
Okay.
this though.
I know.
This is
It's
good.
fun.
Okay, so at 6,
Mhm.
I've got the Miami Heat.
Yeah.
Miami Heat somehow have found a top seed the past couple of years, and it
Mhm.
has helped them out to get to the Eastern Conference Finals. I think they made it last year, right?
Yeah, they lost to Boston in the Eastern Finals, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
then they were in the NBA
In the
Finals in the bubble.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So they've made it the past couple of years to these conference finals due to some injury things, Embiid getting hurt, Middleton getting hurt,
Yeah.
things like that. Jared Allen getting hurt. So they've been able to take advantage of opportunities when they arise.
Mhm.
I don't think that opportunity will come this year, and if it does, they've got way more competition than they usually have had to run into the past couple of years,
Yeah.
provided the injury thing doesn't continue. But Heat, they'll always be really good, but I think they'll be a little bit further than where they have finished the past couple of years. It'd be
Yeah.
like the last 10 games, and the Heat be like a 4 or 5 seed, and then all
And
of a
then
sudden
kind of drop.
they're 1
Yeah.
or 2, or it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Number 5, I had those Nets that you had at 9. I think
Mhm.
they've figured something out. Everybody stays healthy, whether Ben shoots or not. I mean, he's going to be able to do every dang thing else. And when he
Mhm.
shoots, yes, that'll be awesome if he can start
Yes.
making them. And then Kevin Durant, as long as he's healthy, he's going to come back and average you 30 points a game and go crazy and be in the top 3 MVP conversation.
Yeah.
And he'll be able to help keep things afloat. And as long as Kyrie behaves, things will be all right. They'll be okay.
Just behave.
They've got enough top 3 talent to make things float for a while. And if they even kind of figure it out, they'll be in the middle of the pack, I think.
Mhm. Yeah.
Number 4, the reigning Eastern Conference champs, the Boston Celtics.
Mhm.
They have a lot going on right now.
Yeah.
I think teams will be a little bit more ready for what they bring defensively now. They'll still be really good, but
Yeah. Oh,
teams
yeah.
will be a little bit more ready for it. You've seen this unit a lot over the years. So, I mean, at some point, these Celtics are going to be a little bit more figured out. They're still good. These players are getting to the peak of their powers, Tatum and Brown, and, Smart, fresh off a Defensive Player of the Year. And what do they call Robert Williams? What's his nickname? Man, it's killing me here. I can't get it. I'll figure it out. Find it for us, BJ. Robert Williams.
Robert Williams' nickname.
And so they've got a good unit there, and they're all pretty young. But like I said, the East is deep, and most teams are used to these players by now. But Celtics will still be really good at the top of the Eastern Conference. I just think some other teams will be a little
Time Lord.
Time Lord. See, it was something cool like that.
Yeah.
So Celtics, top 5 seed, in at number 4.
I like it. Well, we're not too far off. And again, it could literally be separated by, like 1 through 6 could be separated by like 6 games or something like that. It could be something crazy, or it could be tiebreakers determining these seedings. Like this is, by far the most parity I think we've had in the Eastern Conference in a long time.
We only have one team chance. We only have a chance with one team to get this right.
Yeah.
Get
Well,
one right.
I'm going to say number 3.
Okay.
Not too far off. They're going to be in that 3-6 matchup that you had, but they're going to be the higher seed. That's the Miami Heat.
Oh wait, we might have. Hold on.
Because you had Miami at 6.
Who was your 4 again?
Philly.
Okay, never mind. It is one
Yeah.
team.
Okay. All right.
Okay, Miami Heat at 3. Okay.
Miami Heat at 3. Ready for number 2?
Yeah.
Boston Celtics. Same as they were a year ago. Even with the distractions, I think defense travels and plays well. They're going to be another tough. It's going to be another tough, year to stop them and what they want to do. They do go kind of as Jason Tatum goes, but they're going to make sure that they keep you in check as best they can, which means Milwaukee Bucks will go back as the top seed in the Eastern Conference. And I kind of figured that's
something
where you
we
were.
could agree about.
Yeah, I thought that was where you ended up too.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's when you look at this is a just a year removed from being the the NBA champions. They had the worst of luck with Chris Middleton going down when he did. Otherwise, they probably would have beaten Boston in that crazy 7-game series, and they might have beaten the Warriors even. I think they would have made it to the finals, and we could be talking about the Bucks as back-to-back champions. This is still a really good team, and I'm very interested to see what we get again from Giannis, and if they're going to, now that it's been a couple years, if this is Joel Embiid's turn to win the MVP, is it going to be a young blood, or is Giannis going to win another? It's really going to be an interesting race to watch for some of these awards. So we know you had Milwaukee at 1. Why don't you give us your other 2?
Yeah, at 3 I had Cleveland. I think when they were all healthy and rolling last year, they were rolling.
Yeah.
And they're all healthy to start the season again. You add Donovan Mitchell to that mix. That's a top team in the Eastern Conference. I don't think chemistry is going to be any issue, and they're extremely deep. And I believe they're getting Ricky Rubio back as well.
I think you're right. I can double check.
Either that or they shipped him out of town, but I think they kept him. So like I said, extremely deep team. Even if they don't have him, a very deep team otherwise, no matter what. So that unit is poised to be a top team in the East as well, as long as, health willing. Number 2, 76ers, man. 76ers posed, come back and, put things together. The process, it kind of died years ago, but they've still got Joel Embiid. Embiid, like you alluded to, got a chance to finally get his MVP, but he's got some touted competition in the way, and some other players are coming back. So he's got to be even better than he's been the last 2 years and stay healthy to get that thing. I think it's going to be hard.
So here's an update real quick. Going back to Cleveland, they do still have Rubio. He's out with a knee injury. He said a couple weeks ago he's hoping to return sometime in December. He ended it by saying, "Who knows?" So
I think he tore his ACL. So
may have
or whatever it was last. He tore a something CL. So
yeah,
I think it was his ACL,
MCL or something. Yeah.
Yeah. So
one of those two.
I just didn't know when he was coming back, but they've still got him. That's cool. So they get him back mid-season and whenever or something like that, or at least at the latest after
year,
at the latest after the All-Star break, and it'll just help him out for playoffs. So I just think they have a really good squad. But back to the 76ers, Harden won't have to do as much because Tyrese Maxey's going to go crazy this season. And they've added P.J. Tucker to the mix, whom Harden is very familiar with for defensive purposes.
The Houston days, yeah.
Those patented corner threes. And they also added Montrezl Harrell as well. So if he can tap into what he was doing in L.A. with the Clippers, then they'll be in good shape.
Yeah.
They'll be in good shape. And, of course, like you said, Bucks at number 1.
Best
and now,
team in the East. Yeah.
After a very long Eastern Conference prediction thing, we're finally to BJ's best.
All right. I
Oh,
was gonna say
we'll
go west later. That's fine. That's perfectly fine. All right. So for BJ's best, Drew, I thought this was very interesting. I saw this earlier today. You wear a lot of blue jeans, right?
Kind of, yeah.
Kind of. If it when it gets a little cooler, you know that's
I
kind
like
of
some
the
sweatpants, but
yeah.
otherwise blue jeans, yeah.
This is like when we have to dress up or whatever, you and we will wear a nice polo and jeans more so than anything else in the line of
Game
work that
day
we
attire.
do. Absolutely,
Yep.
game day attire, indeed. Well, I've got a picture for you. I don't have it uploaded, but I'll be able to show you. Um, I'm going to show you this pair of jeans here, if it will
In
allow me.
those jeans. Okay, no, not the same type of
No,
things.
not the same type of thing. So, Drew, if you can tell, you can see that pair of jeans.
Are those 3/4?
I think so. They got a lot of dirt on them. They look like they could use a wash, everything like
Uh-huh.
that. So you see the pair of jeans right there.
Uh-huh.
Would you believe it if I told you that these jeans that are a pair of Levi's were found in a mine shaft? They were made back in the 1880s. And they look as
Um,
good as they do still.
sure. I mean, if you come with that, I mean, that's not something people just make up out of they
Well,
pull out of the butt.
I
So,
was gonna say, yeah,
like,
I wouldn't have pulled it out of my rear. It's just kind of hard to believe that those jeans are as in good condition as they are. 140-ish years later, and they
is
were
that
found.
good or is it worrisome?
I mean, it just shows you, I guess, the power of denim. That
So, like, if you want to pass on some blue jeans and bury them beneath your house, and your family lives there for 3 more generations for your great grandkids to put on these blue jeans when they become a size 34, 34, then you can do that, and them jeans are gonna be nice and crispy like they were 100+ years ago for a great
as
grandpa.
long as you wash them beforehand, I'm sure that's fine. Yeah,
Maybe I need a new family tradition. Be like, this is the Ivory family house. It's going to be in our family for at least 3 more generations. And I want my grandkids to put these jeans on that I have buried under the house.
Well, I was gonna say it'd be better to bury them under the house than to be buried in them, because then you have to go and
Right.
rob the
I
grave
wouldn't wear
for the
them.
pair of jeans. No,
I put them
absolutely
in their
not.
own little box.
So these pair of jeans that were found in an abandoned mine, they sold in auction for over $87,000. Drew, pants were found in an abandoned mine in the American West by what is the self-described denim archaeologist Michael Harris. They were sold at a 4-day celebration of denim on the outskirts of Aztec, New Mexico. They feature a buckleback adjuster along the seat, and they said that the pants were a rare discovery, apparently, especially in the condition and size that they were in. Um, they said that this was kind of a really fluky discovery, if you will. That's my word, not theirs.
Mm-hmm.
Because Harris said apparently looked in about 50 different mine shafts for over 5 years and not found a pair of jeans and as good a quality as this pair. And so, I'm wondering now, because yeah, I wouldn't think that something from the 1800s would still look as good as it does. I'm curious, Drew. Do you think that these were planted? Maybe. Do you think that these are a newer pair of jeans and not necessarily from the 1800s, like they
Yes.
say they are? I mean, they can be in that good a condition, right?
I don't know. I don't know about all
I
that.
don't know how you verify like the age of a pair of jeans, but
Well, I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't be. I'd consider both, just because the fact that I've heard people at least as of late that don't wash their jeans after the first use.
hmm,
They'll use them again at least one more time, if not two. Use them about 2 or 3 times before they actually wash those jeans.
yeah. I mean, I can get a couple days out of them if I need to. Like if I put a pair on clean, for Friday game or whatever, I'll wear them through the rest of the weekend before I would put them in the wash, and they're still in good shape and they don't, stink or anything like that. But I mean, after 100 some odd years, even if they haven't been worn, I wouldn't think they'd be in as good a condition as they appear to be, Drew.
Yeah, I'd have to. this quote unquote good condition. This has somebody put them on and walked around in them, and have they not fallen apart or something? Have we
Okay,
proved that
so
they're in actual good condition?
this says that these jeans could be worn with only a few minor repairs. It says there's a couple of soft spots on the jeans that could use a bit of reinforcement, but otherwise they are super duper solid jeans.
Well, we'll see. I wanted you to try and reinforce those things that need reinforcement, and if it doesn't fumble
And
into dust, I believe you.
I was gonna say, if as long as you're walking around and all of a sudden you don't get struck by a heavy wind and all of a sudden you have a wardrobe malfunction or whatever, I think you'll be fine. This apparently
That'd probably
also
be the
says,
crustiest things to put on.
I can't even imagine. I wouldn't want to put them on without a wash.
Yeah,
I would
imagine
not.
putting them on free balling.
Oh, God. Please, no.
How much money did they have to pay you?
So I mean, more than they paid for this pair of jeans. I'll tell you that.
Okay, more than 87,000.
Yeah, more than $87,000. Apparently, it does say that they do believe these to be authentic because a label inside the jeans reads "the only kind made by white labor," which apparently goes back to the Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882, which was a practice that they scrapped in the 1890s. Levi's did, where they would not allow Chinese immigrants or workers to work on in the jean factory. And so I guess, I mean, because of how old, and how long ago those were scrapped, the fact that that has that label would kind of go ahead and be 1 point in favor of those that believe these to be authentic. So the jeans are now being kept in a safety deposit box and can be viewed by appointment. They're said to be hoping to sell the pants to a museum so they can be publicly displayed. So one of these days, Drew, you might get to see this pair of jeans up close and personal if you ever decide to go to a museum, or the right museum at least. So yeah, happy life with knowing that you can rock as long as you don't outgrow your pair of jeans. You could rock the same pair of jeans for the rest of your life, and they could still be in good shape for who knows how much longer.
I hope I run into those jeans one day, and I hope I remember this BJ's Best segment.
Well, I'll clip it for you if you do.
I'll be like, small mother world.
Small world indeed.
What are the odds that I run into these old jeans? But like, I would ask to put them on. I'd be like, do y'all want to hear this episode? We actually talked about this before.
I wouldn't know.
Then I'd get us a story written about us real quick. Like, they talked about it on this show how many years ago? Golly.
Oh man. Well, hopefully it wouldn't be like 140 or something like that if we're still alive at that point. And I don't think that wearing jeans would be the biggest of our concerns.
I think they should rebury those jeans and see if they make it, or try a new pair of jeans in that same spot.
Yeah, do a time capsule.
Yeah, try a new pair of jeans in that same spot.
I think that'd be awesome.
Dig me out in 140 years.
I don't know what the odds of them doing that are, but I do know that you could get some favorable odds this weekend if you're going to be watching some NFL action, Drew. Why don't you tell us more about that?
Yes, that NFL action always in full swing at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. We're talking touchdowns from the Dallas Cowboys, big plays by the Dallas Cowboys, and even bigger wins over the Eagles by the Dallas Cowboys.
There you go.
New customers can bet just $5 on any NFL team to win and get $200 in free bets if they do.
Yeah, that's right, Drew. It's not just those Cowboys and the hated Eagles that are matching up this weekend. If you want to put an action on, there's a big matchup in the AFC. If you want to put some money on the Bills and the Chiefs, for instance, if you believe that the Bills are overrated and you're putting your faith behind Patrick Mahomes, the Texas Tech product, and those Chiefs, you can get some great odds on Patrick Mahomes to throw at least 3 touchdowns this weekend with DraftKings Sportsbook. Or maybe you don't like that game. Maybe you're looking at those upstart Giants that are 5.5-point dogs against the Baltimore Ravens. Maybe you like Minnesota on the road in Miami. There's a lot of action that you can bet this weekend at DraftKings Sportsbook. And check this out. In addition to the usual bets, everyone can boost their winnings with DraftKings stepped up same game parlays. You can do it not just this weekend, Drew, but you can throw down on stepped up same game parlays once per game day all season long. Boy, doesn't that make things that much sweeter.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code TBPN to get $200 in free bets if your team wins when you place a $5 bet on any football game. That's code TBPN only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL.
Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. All right, Drew, before we get back to the Western Conference and giving our preview, and we'll also give you some award predictions and everything like that, it's time for What is on Drew's Mind?
Yes, indeed. It's time, BJ. Well, BJ, there's always a lot on Drew's mind, and today, and specifically, it's kind of a random thing. To be honest, you're probably not going to be expecting what's going to be coming out of my mouth for what's on Drew's mind in this segment.
I never do.
Fair enough. You would probably be wrong most times if you did.
Mm-hmm.
But this time, what's on Drew's mind, BJ, is it's an actor.
An actor.
His name is Liam Neeson.
Mm-hmm.
Liam
Familiar
Neeson.
with him.
You're familiar with Liam Neeson. I'm familiar with Liam Neeson a little bit, not a lot, but familiar. And Liam Neeson, he's currently in talks to star in Paramount's The Naked Gun reboot.
Oh boy.
So he's going to be doing that.
Liam
And
Neeson in the Naked Gun reboot.
It's going to be directed by Avika Schaefer.
Okay, I'm not familiar with her.
I'm not either, but
at least I think it's. I'm not sure.
Liam Neeson will be the star. It's totally fitting, based off what I'm looking at right here of the original movie. It seems like he would do that role probably pretty well.
Well, and that's the thing, Liam Neeson's more. My first thought was, are they making the Naked Gun like an action movie as opposed to like a slapstick comedy? Because when I hear the name Liam Neeson, I think of the Taken movies. I think of all these action movies that he's really done over the past decade. But then you also think back to 20 years ago or something. Liam Neeson was in Love Actually, wasn't he?
I'm glad you started talking about his movies, BJ, because that's
okay.
That's where we're going today. So on the topic
okay.
of Liam Neeson, not only is he in those talks for the Naked Gun reboot, and that is the main reason we're mentioning him today.
Yeah.
We're gonna go through Liam Neeson's 14 best movies.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Is today's birthday maybe?
It is not. It is not.
Okay. Just kind of, yeah. You definitely
on it. Random.
It is random indeed. I believe you now. It's just kind of dawned on me. Like, yeah, I guess because of the news, him starting in the new Naked Gun. But
yeah,
awesome. Okay, let's hear him.
All right, going in order from 14 to 1. I have not seen all, but I think 2 of these movies.
Okay. If I've seen them, I'll be able to indulge you a little bit, I guess.
All right. Coming in at number 14, Darkman.
I haven't seen that one.
Before he starred in some other movies, I won't say which one because it's on this list, Neeson played a superhero of Frankenstein-esque proportions in Darkman, directed by Sam Raimi and written as an ode to Universal Monster movies. Darkman is a gory, weird, and tragic film that Neeson's Dr. Peyton Wilder carries on his mangled back. At the time, Neeson was a relatively unknown actor, but Universal rolled the dice on the cast due to both Raimi's The Evil Dead franchise success and the success of Tim Burton's Batman the year prior. Just kind of ruined it.
Yeah,
Unlike Schindler's List, released 3 years later, Neeson's Dr. Wilder is loud, boisterous, and unpredictable. It's a fun performance to revisit.
Yeah, I was just gonna say with Sam Raimi, I'm surprised that I haven't heard of it, but yeah, with an ode to the monster movies of almost nearly 100 years ago now, it seems like it should be one that I check out.
Coming in at number 13, A Walk Among the Tombstones.
Haven't seen that one either.
A 2014 neo-noir action thriller. Liam Neeson portrays former New York Police Department cop turned private investigator Matthew Scudder, who is hired by a notorious drug trafficker to locate the men responsible for the brutal kidnapping and murder of his wife. Scudder sets out to stop the perpetrators and takes to the streets to catch the killers using any means necessary to put an end to the violence.
So basically, it was a different version of Taken, but
I knew you were gonna say
I
that.
was, I was gonna say that's the problem is that after the success of the first Taken, it seemed like he did several others that were pretty much like copycats or something very similar to
You know
Taken.
who also did a lot of the same type of movies?
Who?
Nicolas Cage.
No, that's true.
Continuing, something that you've already mentioned,
Hmm.
coming in at number 12, Love Actually.
Yeah.
In Love Actually, Neeson plays a widower named Daniel who is coming to terms with the loss of his wife while left to raise his stepson Sam. While helping his young son navigate his own grief, it is discovered that his son is in love with one of his schoolmates, Jonah. The pair ended up bonding over a social experiment of helping Sam garner the attention of his crush, which includes learning an instrument to play in the school talent show.
Yeah, I remember. I think that's the first thing I saw him in. That's one of my mom's favorites. So I'm definitely familiar with that one.
Coming in at number 11, A Monster Calls.
Haven't seen it.
Neeson takes on an A-list voice acting duties as the monster, and his deep grunting voice is perfect for the voiceover performance. As close to a family film on the list, Neeson's tree monster is initially a source of fear for the film's young protagonist, but eventually serves as a sounding board and vehicle to help him cope with his dying mother while she endures her chemotherapy treatments.
Interesting. I hadn't seen that, but that may be one I check out.
Coming in at number 10, Kinsey.
Not familiar with that one either.
I know a lot that I've never heard of. Chronicling the life of revered professor and sexologist Alfred Charles Kinsey, the fascinating biographical drama Kinsey features Liam Neeson as the influential pioneer who valiantly fought to teach sex education courses, whose extensive research became one of the first science-based published works on the once taboo subject.
Interesting.
Coming in at number 9, The Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
I've seen that one. That was a big one for me as a kid. I enjoyed those books for sure.
Another popular voice role, Neeson took on the mystical king of beasts, Aslan, in the Chronicles of Narnia film series. Although he is featured in all the movies in the franchise, his role is most prominent in the first installment, The Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Yeah.
Neeson's unique voice is the perfect pairing for the wise, all-knowing Aslan, who author C.S. Lewis has stated represents Jesus Christ in the books.
Yeah. That was one that I was big into as a kid, and I think out of the movies that I remember seeing, I remember that one the best, and I remember that being the best of them. So
I say Neeson does for Chronicles of Narnia what James Earl Jones did for The Lion King.
yeah, you must never go there, Simba.
Right, coming in at number 8, the aforementioned Taken.
Ah, okay, interesting. A little bit lower than I would have expected.
Pretty low, much lower than I expected for sure. You've likely quoted Neeson's iconic "I will find you"
I will kill you
monologue in this film, or at least heard your friends, acquaintances, or various pop culture's parodies do it. In Taken, Neeson plays a man with a very particular set of skills. Skills that make me a nightmare for people like you. After his daughter gets kidnapped, goes on a one-man killing spree to save her. It's the film that solidified Neeson as an action star and prompted 2 successful sequels, not to mention a whole slew of familiar films like you just alluded to, such as John Wick and Nobody.
Yeah. And I will say the best response from that, I will find you and I will kill you. Good luck. He brought it on himself.
All right, and to fast forward, because we got a whole Western Conference. Coming in at number 6, The Marksman.
I haven't seen it.
Coming in at number 5, The Ice Road.
I think I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it.
Coming in at number 4, you've heard this one, probably seen it too, Batman Begins.
Yep, I have. I definitely have. That's a pretty good movie.
Coming in at number 3, The Gray.
No, haven't seen it.
Coming in, and well, let me tell you.
A little bit about. Yeah, I was gonna say at least for Gray and on.
So let me back up. Number 6, The Marksman. Let's see. He plays a rancher named Jim Hansen that has to face off against a cartel. He's a former Marine that becomes a protector of a young Hispanic boy fleeing cartel Cis- Cesarios? I think
Yeah,
that's what it is.
yeah,
After calling the Border Patrol, things only get worse, and Jim must reconcile with the damage he's caused, so he decides to take the young boy to his family in Chicago.
interesting. That might be one to check out.
Ice Road um, tells the tale of an ice driver who embarks upon an impossible rescue mission after a diamond mine collapses in a remote region in Canada. Neeson must
Yeah,
cross the frozen ocean to save the lives of miners trapped in an accident, all while the ocean thaws and the threat of corrupt insurance company agents close in on him.
I do remember hearing about that. That does sound familiar to me, but I haven't seen it.
We know the Batman stuff, and then the
Hmm.
Gray was filmed in brutal conditions as wolves attack on the characters. Neeson shot the film 7 hours a night in negative 35-degree weather, with the
Yeah,
cameras, cast, and crew constantly freezing, and still managed to give a compelling performance.
man, you just gotta admire that just from hearing that. I mean,
35 degrees below, I'd
that's
die.
that's commitment. That's commitment as an actor.
I'd need way more money.
Yeah.
I'd
Oh
need
yeah.
double. I'm like, if I gotta
Oh
freeze my balls off every night
yeah. But
in
just
this
imagine if
type
you're
of weather,
working in the crew and you have to deal with that, and you're not even
I
being
mean, at
paid
least you
like the
get to
star.
sit there and be. Some of those people get to sit and be bundled up.
Hmm.
But like, I mean, we grew up in Texas, BJ. Negative 35 for us. Like,
No. When it got to be like around
we've been
zero
making.
in last year, that was too cold for
I
us.
don't even know. I don't even know if we would survive
Probably
being
not.
there. Period. Let alone acting like that and
No.
doing things. So, coming in at number 2, Silence. Silence, a 159-minute film based on a true story of 17th century Jesuit priests, played by Andrew Garfield and Adam Driver, who embark on a journey to Japan to rescue their mentor. Uh, and it marks Neeson's second film with Martin Scorsese. After Gangs of New York, Neeson gives a subdued performance, though his character, who denounced Jesus, became a Buddhist and inherited a Japanese family from executed Japanese Christian men. Scorsese tells a cautionary tale of the perils of missionaries overstepping their boundaries as the Japanese people never needed saving.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm not a big Scorsese guy, so I hadn't seen this, but I'm guessing Gangs of New York number one then.
Nope,
No, interesting.
it's not even on here.
Wow.
Coming in at number 1, Schindler's List.
Oh yeah, duh.
This is
Obviously,
the one for
yeah,
Liam Neeson.
it has to be.
Arguably, director Steven Spielberg's most critically acclaimed film, Schindler's List, based on the true story of Oskar Schindler, made Neeson a star.
Yeah,
The film covers Schindler's creation of the enamelware factory, employing Jewish essential workers to avoid them being taken to concentration camps, his close relationship with the SS Nazis, his change of heart to save as many Jews as possible, and his ultimate prevention of Jews being taken from the city of Brunlitz to Auschwitz.
yeah. It's
Though,
a
though
harrowing movie.
through Spielberg's use of black, white, and red, he emphasized Schindler's change of heart, which Neeson so eloquently portrays. Neeson doesn't play a man with a perfect moral compass, and the complexities of this are acted to perfection through his subtle facial expressions and soft-spoken delivery.
Yeah, it's a fantastic movie. There, I
I have
I'm
not
I,
seen it, but I want to now.
yeah, I was gonna say that's one that you definitely have to watch. The sooner the better, honestly. I'm
And
surprised
that
y'all didn't watch it in school. In school, honestly.
I don't, I don't believe we did.
Hmm.
But that is what's on Drew's mind.
Okay, fantastic stuff as always from what's on Drew's mind, and shout out to Liam Neeson giving him the proper respect that he deserves. Let's shift gears. Let's go back to the NBA and do our Western Conference predictions. Man, I hate to say it, but is there going to be any team worse than Utah this year? Maybe San Antonio? Oh,
I'm right there with you. If you got them
yeah.
at 15,
Yeah,
Utah
Utah.
Jazz.
Utah right at 15. So back-to-back teams that we end up agreeing on, and then San Antonio is actually just right above them. Those are the two that I feel are going to have. That's unfortunate because we've become so familiar with San Antonio being so good for so long under Coach Greg Popovich, and
Hmm.
and they're about to fully blow everything up if they haven't already. And I don't know if Popovich is going to stay around to get this team back up to that level that it used to be at.
And it's the first year without Becky
Hmm. Yeah, and that's going to
helping
definitely
out.
play a part in it as well. So Utah and then San Antonio are the two worst teams. And then you got to think that maybe with some improvement, these next couple teams might be just on the edge of playoff race, but maybe not. How much is Houston going to improve? I've got them third to worst, but I think they'll be a little bit better.
I thought we were gonna be 3 for 3, but we were not.
Okay, who do you have?
I've got, Jazz 15, Spurs
Hmm.
14. I got the Thunder right there.
Okay, I have the
They
Thunder at 12, so if it's a
yeah,
flip flop, then
right. They
not too
lost at
bad.
Holmgren, so I mean, and SGA is always hurt. They're not gonna be any mix, but they're not one to sleep on any given night. They
No,
could beat you just for no
yeah,
reason.
absolutely. I mean,
So
you saw what the Josh Giddey and those two big guys that they've got in there. That they when they're fully healthy, this team is going to be competitive and
right,
will surprise some teams. So
yeah,
I had them just ahead of Houston by one spot. So
yeah. I got the flip flop there. Rockets.
mhm.
Alfieri Singen in his first year, fully starting at center. He's gonna eat, and I think the young guns will be able to get some buckets up, and be able to take advantage of Christian Wood's minutes that are no longer his,
Yeah,
him being in Dallas. So,
I think
like
we
I
might
said,
get
either or there. So,
yeah, and I think we'll probably agree on this one. Just missing out, number 11, just outside the playoff bubble, Sacramento.
yep, same one right
Yeah,
there with you.
unfortunately for the Kings, it's not going to end just quite yet. But they're getting better. They're getting better. They're getting there. It's just, I mean, who are you going to pick against in this the last 10 teams here? You know,
Mhm.
okay.
All right.
Who is going to be in your play-in tournament? Who's number 10?
Number 10 for me is the Portland Trailblazers.
Yep, yep,
Portland
right there with you.
Trailblazers. Lillard will find a way to get the Blazers to the play-in. They
Yeah.
may not make well, I'm going to say they're not going to make the playoffs, but Lillard will find a way to get them to the play-in.
When you've got Damian Lillard, you don't need a whole lot more to get to that playing
Don't need
level,
a whole
but you
lot.
need a whole lot more to get above it. But I think they'll be at number 10. And then it gets a little bit interesting because you're starting to talk about teams that are really good, and we got them down at number 9. I've got New Orleans at 9.
Mm, whoa! You're going to be surprised at where I've got them then.
I bet I am. I bet I am.
I've
It's
got
kind
the
of be probably
Lake
gonna be like that.
Show at
Okay.
9.
All right. The Lakers. Interesting.
I just don't know what we have out of them yet. It looks like a crap show again. And if they keep Westbrook, even half of the season, it's too long.
Yeah. Well, I'm not too far off on those Lakers. I had them at 8. I had them at the next spot above.
Fair
So
enough.
I mean, it's
Fair
it's
enough.
it's another one of those things. Maybe I'm not buying in a whole lot into New Orleans just because I need to see Zion stay healthy for that full season. Otherwise, yeah, we could give them all these great heights that they could reach, but will they without having a full season from Zion? I don't know.
We shall see.
We shall see. All right, who's your last team in the play-in at number 7?
I struggled here. I actually
Oh yeah.
shuffled a few of these around.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't tell you who my 8 was.
Oh, that's right. Sorry. Yeah, go
My
ahead
8
with your 8.
is the Timberwolves,
Mm-hmm.
even with the addition of Rudy Gobert.
Yeah.
I just don't believe in them yet. They'll be a
Okay.
playoff team, but they'll be fighting in those play-in games.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Grizzlies.
Yeah.
The Grizzlies. I don't think they'll be as surprisingly good as they were last year. I mean, they won so many games without their star. It just didn't make sense. Um, I don't know if that consistency will stay there because Clippers coming back, that full unit. Warriors are still there. Nuggets get Jamal Murray back. Mavericks are still Mavericks and things like that, and other teams. So I think the Grizzlies might be at the bottom of that totem pole because all those other teams, basically veteran teams, and then the
Yeah.
Grizzlies pop out. And unless they are that team, they would have to become like kind of how the Warriors seem to overnight and be those guys to move
Yeah.
way up my totem pole.
Yeah.
But that's
I I think that's very fair. I had the Grizzlies also at 7. I think they're going to regress just
yeah.
a bit. I don't think they're going to be number 2. just because when you got as many teams that we're going to talk about here in the top six that are looking the part and everything like that, it's tough to think that, yeah, they can absolutely be competitive and they can be a playoff team, but they're not going to be number two again. They're just
Right.
not. It's going to be very tough for them to get back to that high. All right, we're going to go into the playoff bracket itself. We'll start at number 6. We weren't too far off with what you had. I had Minnesota at 6. I think they'll get that last spot in the actual field. I do buy into them. I think that Gobert edition, they were already good enough to be a play-in team last year, and I think they'll continue to get better. But I don't think they're going to be a top 4 seed. They could. It's just that the West is so stacked that it's going to be very tough to
I'm
see
s-
a whole lot of movement.
I'm so happy to see that you have our Mavericks in the top 5.
Me too. You have them at 6.
Um, I've got the Pelicans at
Okay,
6.
Pelicans. That's not a bad pick, honestly.
I really like the Pelicans and what they have, and they showed, what they can be. A little bit of a glimpse against the Sun in that first round, and
Hmm.
everybody's coming back healthy. Well, I say everybody, most people are coming back healthy, and then you get Zion. I mean, you
Yeah,
get CJ, Bi, and they got Valanciunas in there too. And I mean,
yeah,
that's a unit that can hold it together for a while. I mean,
yeah,
that's a good standalone big three until you get Zion back
yeah.
and just swap him and Jonas Valanciunas, and then Valanciunas. I mean, Valanciunas, your fourth best guy who can get 20 and 20 on any great night. I mean,
Absolutely, yeah,
they've got a nice squad, and if they put it together, like, and I think Bi is the real catalyst here because, he's the one that's got to like put it all together. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like he's always had
yeah.
those flashes. He's shown what he can do in the playoffs now. What is he going to be this year? So I think it all stands on Bi, but I've got him
Very
at
good,
6.
very good. Okay, I think we've got the same 5 teams in our top 5, and maybe a little bit of a different order, but I'm
Right.
going to list them off and make sure. So you got Golden State, Denver, the Clippers, the Mavericks, and Phoenix. Those are the top 5, but not in that order. I'm saying
Oh,
what.
I
Yeah,
was
no, I'm just listing them off. What? Let's break it down and see what
excited.
order they're in, because you got those are the 5 teams, but where
Yeah.
do they find spots in your playoff bracket?
Okay. It's your turn.
Starting at
5.
5. Okay, number 5 for me is going to be the Denver Nuggets.
Mm.
I think that they're a sneaky 5 as well. I mean, they as many games as they won last year without Jamal Murray, and I think 5 is just the lowest of the low. I think they could even climb up into the top 3 range. That's how much faith I have in this Denver Nuggets team. But they'll get a good matchup to start off in the first round, because coming in at number 4, it's going to be the Dallas Mavericks for the second year in a row.
There you go. Now we're talking. I had the Phoenix Suns at 5.
Okay.
I think they've started the beginning of their decline,
Mm-hmm.
and it's all courtesy of the Dallas Mavericks. Um,
Wouldn't that be a
and
fun first round matchup?
yeah, I think it's very possible, and I think
Yeah.
that's where they're gonna be if the team doesn't totally fall off a cliff once they trade away DeAndre Ayton, because they will.
Yeah.
And I just don't know what you're going to have after that. I mean, you're going to have a collection of some talented people. Chris Paul, Devin Booker
Yeah.
can still get 25 plus a night,
Well,
and then
sure,
Mikal
sure.
Bridges might have an expanded role, and we'll see what that looks like. But it depends on what they get in the swap and what players come to help them out.
Yeah.
They might look to have some old veteran guys that could that mesh well with CP or something, and just kind of keep things afloat. I don't know, but I've got Suns at 5, and I'm right there with you. Dallas Mavericks at 4.
Yes,
Um, you know,
sir.
I think things will stay afloat enough to keep us back where we were. As far as finishing the regular season, I don't know what our postseason is going to look like. I didn't expect last season to look like what it looked like, but I mean,
Exactly.
if we are in this position again, I'd feel good about it again. And if we
Yeah.
played the Suns, I'd feel good about getting to the second round again. And
Yeah.
depending on the matchup, beyond that, I'd feel good maybe about getting to the West Finals again. So
Yeah.
as long as we got a healthy Luca and our team is healthy and ready to go for the playoffs, and maybe we've got some guys that can take away some minutes from Doe Finney-Smith and Reggie Bullock, so they can have enough energy to get us to that point or beyond again. Mavericks at the 4 seed's good.
Yes, absolutely. And here we go with the last three, the top
Top
three
three.
seeds. And this will be very interesting to see what we get out of the Pacific Division because
You know what?
you've
Can I
still got Denver. You still got
can I
Denver, don't you?
can I guess your top three?
You can guess my top three. Go ahead.
At 3, you've got Phoenix.
Correct.
At 2, you've got Golden State.
No, I've got the Clippers at 2 and Golden
Oh,
State at 1.
well, I've got Golden State at 2, Clippers at 1.
That's not bad. I think that I think it's going to be a very close race. I really do.
I think the Clippers are going to be freaking insane.
They are.
I just think
Yes.
they're going to be
Yeah.
disgusting. And if Paul
and
George can just hold himself together, then
And maybe I put the Clippers at 2 so I could maybe give the Mavs a little bit more favorable road to the Western Conference Finals. But I don't know. Going through Golden State is going to be tough too. So
yeah, I'd rather play them again. I'd rather play Golden State though and get
in the
revenge
Western Finals,
than play
yeah.
the Clippers. So I hope that is wrong. If we win,
I was gonna say I'd rather get them both revenge because Golden State last year, Clippers the year before, and then
and
Clippers in the
oh
bubble
yeah,
too.
we do want Clippers though. We
Yeah.
want Clippers. We want
Yeah.
Clippers.
You sure
Man,
do.
imagine beating this Clippers squad. That would be great
Oh
too.
man,
Like, oh,
yeah.
you thought y'all were ready to go now? We beat your ass.
The Clipper curse would continue.
Yeah, and my 3 was Nuggets. I think
Yeah.
Jamal Murray coming back is enough to move that needle up for Jokic, 2-time MVP, and the rest of
Yeah.
his troops. Whether you get Michael Porter Jr. back or not, I think that unit will be able to lead the charge as they have done before to get in that type of position. And they did it before Jokic was a 2-time MVP. They can sure do it after.
Yeah.
And if Murray is like truly healthy for the season, I think it'll be great. And Nuggets will be right there. Otherwise, we'll have a little 3 to 5 shuffle or something. Mavericks go
Yeah.
up, Nuggets drop to 5, and
Mhm.
somebody else goes or lower, and stuff just moves up. But
Yeah.
that's what I got. All right.
Yeah.
So last but not least, award predictions.
Award time. Award time.
I got some awards. We've only got 6 main awards, so we can just go ahead and hash these out real quick. Coach of the year, BJ, who you got?
Ooh. Tough race. Tough race. Tough race. I'm gonna go. Where did I write it down? Hold on. Technical difficulties. Hold on. Stand by.
All right, I'll give you mine.
Okay.
Tyronn Lue.
Mm-hmm.
I think Coach Ty Lue and his Clippers, now that they're healthy, and they'll be at least a top 3 seed at the worst. I think he'll be able to finally get the recognition he deserves, putting that team together and coaching it and possibly getting it to 55 plus wins. I think the Clippers are that type of team that they can, if they all mesh and, the situation with John Wall, he doesn't, that team doesn't blow up and, he can still play a good level of basketball again, that I think this award's Ty Lue's.
Could go with a different guy just to be different. I think that, I didn't say necessarily that they were going to be a top 3 seed, but I want to go with JB Bickerstaff. I know we talked about him last year, and I think he's going to lead this Cavs team to a very special season. So I'm going to go with Bickerstaff.
Okay. All right. Rookie of the year. I have Keegan Murray out of Sacramento. That's the only kind of success they're going to have this year, bringing home that hardware.
I like that pick. I like that pick a lot. I was going to take that pick until you took it, so I'll go Jaden Ivey of the Detroit Pistons.
Okay,
back to back Rookie of the Year award winners in Detroit.
That was my other option. I almost put or Jaden Ivey.
just to be a little bit different, yeah.
6th man of the year.
Okay.
Oh man, I put this in the wrong spot. Hold on. Do you have a 6th man?
I do.
Okay,
looking at those New Orleans Pelicans and Devontae Graham is where I'm gonna go. I think that like I said, I mean, and I may have undervalued this Pelicans team in my playoff predictions, but that doesn't mean they're not talented. They're not going to win games and everything like that. I just want to see Zion stay healthy and before I raise them up in my power rankings at this point. I think they're a fantastic team with a lot of talent that if they get a full season out of Zion and they stay healthy, who knows how far this Pelicans team can go this year.
And now that I've fixed my mess up on here,
Okay,
I have Christian Wood
I
taking
like it.
Sixth Man of the Year,
I
and
like it.
that is how the Dallas Mavericks get back to that position right there.
I
He's going to
like
be
it.
coming off the bench at least. That's the plan to start the season off, and if it continues, I think he's going to have to be that type of threat, and really step up as a six man for us to be able to get back to that position.
I like it.
So
I
Christian
like the
Wood,
pick.
Sixth Man of the Year.
I like the
Most
pick a lot.
improved player, BJ.
I think this is easy. I mean, you talked about it. I may have a little bit undervalued them, but doesn't mean they're not going to have a good season up there in Philly with Tyrese Maxey leading the charge. I think they're going to have a fantastic
Attaboy.
contribution from him. Yeah,
Same
I
here.
think that was pretty easy, man.
Tyrese Maxey, most improved. Defensive player of the year. Who you got?
Well, the easy pick would be Rudy Gobert, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go Giannis. I think Giannis gets it
I
done.
think that was the easy pick, to be honest. Rudy, he doesn't. He's gotten more defensive player of the years than he deserves. I'm just
Yeah.
going to say that on this podcast.
You've said it
But-
before, I think, too.
But I've got Giannis winning it as well. So
Okay.
we're back to
Lock and
back.
step.
Can we
Mhm.
three-peat here with the MVP? BJ, who do you have?
Yeah.
Does his name rhyme with Shmuel Embiid?
It might. I kind of want to go Homer here, though. I really, really want to go with Luka Doncic. Maybe
like
it's just a Homer talking in me, but something tells me this is the year for Shmuel Shmimbeed, and or at least the guy that his name rhymes with. I think Joel Embiid is going to have a fantastic year, and I think this is finally, the long overdue MVP award will be his.
Can we think of anybody else that was like been a top 3 MVP candidate in like multiple years in a row and just never got one or didn't get one for like 2 or 3 years?
You'd have to go back a ways, probably.
Maybe Kobe?
Yeah, but I mean, everybody knew Kobe was, one of the best. If he didn't even if he didn't win the MVP.
Let's see.
So let's see. What else?
D Wade?
Wade,
I don't
yeah,
know how many times he was in the top. I know he
I-
was in 09 and like
Yeah.
a couple of years before that, maybe
If-
06 and
if Rose had gotten a couple years healthy in a row where he was in the top 3, definitely him.
no, but imagine what's gonna be Joel Embiid's mental state if he doesn't get it now. Like he's literally gotta play even better than he's played the last 2 years, and he's gotta be healthy for more games than he's played in the last 2 years.
Yeah,
And let's see how many games Joel Embiid played last year.
I mean, he didn't miss that many.
Last
It felt
season.
like.
He played 68 games. That is the most games he has played in a season in his entire career.
Yeah,
So he's got to play the whole season.
I mean that's what it seems like they're saying.
He's
Yeah.
got to basically play the whole season to get this MVP award. He was a scoring champ this last year.
Yeah,
30 points a game, 11, basically 12 rebounds and 4 assists. A career high in assists,
yeah.
steals, and points.
If it's not him though, like I mean, what really the only argument that they had to give it to Jokic last year was because it was just him. It felt like so. Either if Embiid does it, is it going to be the same kind of thing where Maxey doesn't get to win the most improved player because he goes down with an injury and they just don't get enough contributions from Harden, or what is it going to take at this point if he doesn't win it this year?
I don't know. I think this is his last chance for
Yeah.
sure. He's not going to get another one. I mean, he is going to be. I mean, he's 28 going into this season. He's maybe got a few more years of a real dominant term of basketball.
Yeah.
With these 5 All-Star appearances in a row. So I don't know, but
It's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting.
Okay.
What about you?
That's who I had as MVP. That's who I had as my MVP as well. And now, seems like it's time for some with it or quit it.
Yes, indeed. And this time around, Drew, it is again my turn to ask you 5 questions and see where you feel, if you are with these questions or if you are against them, if you're going to quit them. So, if you are ready, let's begin with number 1. You ready? I think you're muted.
Let us proceed.
Okay, there we go. I just wanted to make sure. Okay, so I don't know if you saw this in the news today. There's been a lot of talk. We didn't get to talk about the NCAA or the W, but we will. We will definitely be doing that here coming up very soon, if not even in next episode. There's been a lot of talk about now it's an ACC commissioner has come out and said that the NCAA tournaments need to expand, more basketball teams. Scott Drew was asked about it. He said something about like wanting 96 teams or 120 teams or something like that. I mean, it's getting to be kind of. I mean, I know that the whole point of it is because more teams making it more money because there's another round. You're expanding the bracket, but how much is too much? Should the NCAA tournament expand to 96 teams? Are you with it or you quit it that it should expand, and it should be to that amount, 96?
They added some more this past season. It was like
I think
I don't
they've
know
been
some.
it's been 68 on the men's side for about 10 years. They finally added 68 to the women's side so that
Or
both sides
what am I
have the
thinking?
same amount.
I don't know. There's some people had to win their tournaments or whatever to get it. No, I don't. Some of the I don't know why that I was thinking that they were looking. They were on some brackets that I saw, like the Rutgers and stuff. Like they had a little mini bracket within the big
Yeah,
bracket.
the
But
first 4 is what you
yeah,
call it.
first
Yeah.
four. Yeah, that's I
Yeah.
don't know why I couldn't
And
think of it.
it's been yeah, they've had that for about
Yeah.
10 or so years now on the men's side. They finally
So
added it to the women's side is I think what you're thinking.
I just don't know where do you draw the line? Um,
They
where it's
talked about like if you
60
expand it
games.
out to if you're adding more teams in, then you give like the top however many seeds like a bye to the second round or something like that, and you
Mm.
just be like a bracket within a bracket or something. I don't know.
I don't want to see any buys for any teams because we've seen the one seed be upset before.
Mhm.
So we know that that's not always a lock like that.
Yeah,
So I don't think they should get an automatic pass. If
yeah,
if it had never happened before, I totally get it. Go ahead and do that. Like they've never
yeah,
been beaten, just go ahead and give them the bye. Nobody's
yeah,
gonna beat them anyway. But
yeah,
no, I think everybody should have to play that first round. Everybody should play out. Everybody should have to
yeah.
play every round.
Yeah. I don't think it's necessarily a buy, if you will, in terms of like how it would normally fashion, but in terms of, separating, you'd have more teams that would stagger their start, and then you'd have like mini brackets to fill in like some of those like smaller seeds or like the lower seeds or whatever is what I've heard the understanding. Because you're talking about adding like 28 teams essentially is what they're talking about, which I mean,
I just think that's too
that's the
much.
thing. Like if you're adding this many teams, what happens to the conference tournaments? Because isn't that in of itself, the adding the teams and then they fight it down to be that the Highlander they can only be one.
They would definitely have to make all conference champions like a 100% bid if that's not already.
It
I
is,
know.
yeah, it is unless they're ineligible.
Okay. So, well, I mean, let Commerce make it. Fix it. Let Commerce win the Lone. Or, sorry, I'm trying to think of D2. I wish we'd
Yeah,
win the Lone Star. Win the
I know.
Southland, and we're in. We ain't got to wait 2 more years, 3 more years, whatever, however longer it is, and
I
go ahead
know
and
that
play.
that's the one thing that I wish they would, if somebody's trying to join, they're not going to go back down
I
like
can't believe
anytime
we're gonna be
soon.
30 by the time that they get to play in the tournament. This
Stop
is.
talking like that, man. We can't age if you don't say it out loud. Don't
Ugh,
you know? So are you
gross.
with it or are you going to quit it? I'm honestly, I'm team quit it. I
I'm
think
quit it.
68 is
I'm
just
sorry.
fine.
I drugged that out like it was a question.
Yeah, it's okay. I
But it
mean,
was a
yeah,
question.
well, there's more of the fans are pretty much your and my opinions, but the administrators, the coaches, they like it because more money, and who wouldn't like that?
Yeah.
So, okay, Drew, number 2. Into the month of October, and since this is the last time that I will get to ask the questions in the month of October, I got a Halloween question for you, maybe a couple even.
True.
So you remember
Mm.
when you were trick or treating and you go to a house and you get like a chocolate bar or something like that. Well, that feeling was better than when you went to that other house and they gave you the sour worms or whatever. Is that something you agree with it or quit it? That when you got the chocolate candy, it was the better of the candies to get as opposed to like the sour gummies or the sour
Quit
patch
it.
or quit it? Okay,
Quit it
interesting.
because I'm not a big chocolate guy. I only would have liked two of the pieces of candy if they, well, maybe three. If they had gave me Kit Kats, Snickers, or Reese's, that's the only things I would
Oh,
have ate. They
good
just said
stuff.
Milky Way or like Three
Oh no.
Musketeers or any
Three
other crap.
Musketeers aren't bad.
Y'all can
Yeah.
have that. Somebody try and toss an almond joy in my stuff. Come on,
Oh no
girl.
no 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 no.
Out here.
Mm-mm.
Give me a sucker or something. Give me them crappy little sour straws you got. I'll take that.
All
But
right,
as
so
long as
two.
candy corn wasn't in my bag, I was chilling.
There you go. That is the ultimate evil on Halloween is candy corn. Just
Gross.
absolutely disgusting. Okay, number 3. All right, we got a big time matchup in the SEC this weekend as 6th ranked Tennessee hosts 3rd ranked Alabama. And after 15 straight years of losing, this will be the year that Tennessee finally knocks off the Crimson Tide. Are you with it? Or are you going to quit it?
Quit it.
Quit it. Wow. No chance for Rocky Top?
I'm not gonna say no chance, but it's Alabama. They'll find some way to win in the regular season.
Okay, interesting.
I don't
Interesting.
know. I don't know much about Tennessee, but I don't know.
They looked pretty good against LSU last week. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay, all right. You
Interesting.
know better than I. So
Hey, that's my pick.
if you could bet on one of them, who would you bet on?
Well, I tell you, I'd
Let's just
take
say it's a money line bet.
money line probably Alabama, but I've got a Tennessee bet in there for sure this weekend. Tennessee plus the points as well as the Tennessee money
See,
line
that's what I'm
separate.
saying.
So
Like, that's why I think about it like in a straight up fashion. Like, if you had to
yeah.
pick one or the other, and you're gonna pick one, just
If
put a
if
bet down.
if
You
I'm
know,
if I'm if I'm picking this game straight up, I'm not picking. I'm not putting it in my bets. That's how confident I feel that Tennessee could win this game.
fair enough.
So, all right. Number 4. Shifting gears back to the spooky side of Halloween.
Mm-mm.
Drew, this isn't the with it or quit it question, but I have to do this because it's part of the question.
Oh,
What's your favorite scary movie? So, the best movie.
scary movie.
What's your favorite scary movie? The best movie, the scary movie that you can watch around Halloween is Scream. Are you with it? You're going to quit it.
I don't know. I'm not a big like
You don't watch a
Halloween
lot of scary
movie
movies?
guy. Well, I mean, like I like scary movies, but just for
Mhm.
the fact of I come there to be scared. To be honest,
Yeah, but not just because of like a Halloween theme or whatever. I don't think it
I'm just gonna
actually.
say
Script, script.
I'm gonna say Halloween. I'm just gonna say
Okay,
Halloween.
the
I guess
yeah, the
that's the most
original.
recent
Yeah,
new Halloween movie I've seen too. Which I mean, it's just
yeah.
the continuing drug on story of this with
Oh
Jamie
yeah.
Lee Curtis. But I'm just gonna
Halloween Ends is coming out, or that's out now actually.
yeah, I'm just gonna
The last
default to
one.
that one
Okay,
as that one, I
so
guess.
that's a quit it then.
Yeah, quit it.
Wow, 4 for 4 on the quittits this week.
Oh
Are we
crap.
going to go 5 for 5? Well, I hope that this one will make you say with it for the first time, Drew, because number 5 is this. Cooper Rush continues his solid play, and the Dallas Cowboys will give the Philadelphia Eagles their first loss of the season. You with it, or are you gonna quit it?
I'm glad you didn't ask me like in a betting notion. I'd be like, I'd bet on the Eagles, but with it for the Cowboys and Cooper Rush to keep that winning ways going in Dallas, Texas. Oh yeah,
I
baby.
think you picked against the Cowboys last week, and it didn't work well. I'm hoping that it'll work for you this
No, I
time
picked
around.
against the Longhorns.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, and it did work because they that was
I'm
pretty
telling
good.
you, they went crazy when I pick
Yeah.
against them. Every time they win.
Well, now we'll know for future reference. So
Yeah.
that, Drew, is with it or quit it. Also, don't forget, friends and neighbors, we are partnered with Fanatics. Drew?
Yes, indeed. Fanatics got a lot going on as always. Always got sales online, free shipping, store wide sales up to
Yeah.
65% off of things going on continuously right now. So make sure
I've
you're
got I
checking
got
that out.
free shipping in the U.S. for the remainder of the day if you're listening live.
Oh, there you
If
go.
not, I'm sure they've got something going on this weekend. Probably one of those 35% off coupons or something that they've had the past couple weekends.
And I'm
There's
pretty
always
sure
something worth checking out.
military discounts still available on there as well. So make sure you
Absolutely.
get locked in with that and shop Fanatics with the Lowdown. Our
You
links
mentioned
are in the description and on our Twitter and Instagram pages in the link
yeah,
tree.
you mentioned that Texas win over Oklahoma. I saw a nice Texas commemorative shirt for their big win over Oklahoma on Fanatics. So if you're a Longhorn fan and you want to rub it into all your Sooner friends and neighbors, if you choose to have any of them, that is, why don't you go get this shirt like that on Fanatics using our special link in the description.
There you go. And make sure you're following us on those social medias: TikTok, Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, all at @the_lowdown. That's THA_lowdown on all of those social media platforms. And make sure you're locked in with T Public and you're getting that merch.
Yes,
They
sir.
have sales on a regular basis, store-wide, up to 35% off, even when we're not announcing it on the podcast. You just got to go to the website, and you'll more than likely see a sale. And if not, I mean, we tried to warn you.
Well,
Try to
and
let you know.
don't you know, Drew? It's not just us. Obviously, if you're wanting anything on T Public, I got this shirt. This is my star shirt
There you go.
for tonight's the first
Grand
game.
Theft October.
Grand Theft Otter.
Oh, Otter. Oh,
Yeah.
I like Grand Theft October.
Grand Theft October. Grand Theft October would be cool too.
Yeah.
But this is my star shirt because they kick off their season here tonight against the I call them Trashville, but it's Nashville Predators. So yeah, you can find all kinds of cool stuff on T Public, and with the holidays coming up, Drew, that's the perfect time to get you some Lowdown merch. The cooler weather's kind of probably next week. We'll be having some much needed cooler weather, and you want some long sleeve stuff, and why don't you get a Lowdown hoodie or a sweatshirt or something like that? Get prepared for the coldness that we're about to enter into.
There you go. BJ's getting you all hooked up, letting you know what you need to do because it's about to get a little cold front.
Little crisp.
It is going to happen. But that is it for this edition of the Lowdown Sports Show, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate you guys hanging with us today live in the stream and our lovely listeners listening to this podcast. If you're not following us on that social media, like we said, make sure you go do that and use code TBPN at DraftKings Sportsbook. We will see you guys next week.